Hello, welcome to the Python tutorials lesson 4, and in this lesson we're going to look at using while loops. Now in our program so far we've done quite a number of different things where we've asked questions and got answers, and we've only ever done them once. But of course in our program we might want to do things lots and lots of times, and for this we need a loop. And in Python the one that we do for lots and lots of times or infinite amount of times is a while loop. So let's give you an example of a program. Let's say we create a program where we want to ask for someone's age. So age equals input, how old are you? There we go. And we convert the age to an integer. There we go. And let's say if they're quite old, if age greater than 8, you are very old. You are very old. There you go. So there's a nice simple program, and if we run it, as to how old they are, if we type in 55, there we go. It runs fine. And if we run it again, if we type, let's say we type in 110, there you go. It works perfectly well if the user's typing in what we expect them to do. But of course, in our programs, that's not always the case. Let's say if the user types something a bit sillier like very old. There we go. So as you can see, it comes up with some kind of error. It gets confused because you've asked it to put in a number and they've just typed something in, and the computer can't handle that. So what we'd want to do here in this situation is we need to check to see if it is actually a number. And we can do that. We can say, okay, if age, there we go, dot isInt, not isInt, is digits. Would that work? Maybe that's going to go, there you go. In fact, I've got to put it here. If age dot is digit, that hopefully will work. Then we can do all this code. There we go. Maybe that needs an underscore. Let's have a look. Let's try with an underscore. Else print please enter a valid number. And you can have a go at this yourself. Let's see if that runs. Let's see what it says. There you go. So ask how old you are. Let's put 50. String up to do. Nope. Maybe it's that way. There we go. That's better. Forgot how to do it then. So here we go. So we ask them for an input. How old are you? And if it is a digit, then we go through all these bits of code. Otherwise, we say please enter a valid number. Good stuff. So let's have a look. Let's do and it says please enter a valid number. So what we've got here is a bit of error checking to make sure it is the right kind of data. But if we do enter invalid data, we've got a problem because when we run it, if it just says please enter a valid number, but then our program finishes. And we don't really want it to finish. We want it to ask them to enter that number all over again. So please enter a valid number, try again. There we go. So how do we do that? Well, what we need to do is we need to look at our program here, all of our program, and think, well, which bits do we need to loop? Well, let's have a look. Age equals input, how old are you? Yep, we might have to do that more than once. We might have to check if it's it's a number more than once. We might have to. Do we need to convert it? No, more than once. No, we only need to convert it once. There we are. And here, if the age is greater than 100, there we go. We only have to do that once. So let's have a look. Good. So these bits here we only have to do once, because we only convert it to an integer if they've given us a valid number, and we only do that test if they've given us a valid number. But all these bits here and something here that's going to have to go in here, let's just put hashback what goes in there, are going to have to be done, could be done once, could be done twice, or could be done a number of times. Well, what do? Well, we put them inside of a while loop. And the simplest form of a while loop is a while true. There we go. So we type while true, and we put a colon on the end, and then we get all of the code that we want to repeat, or we might be repeating, and we indent it. We tab it in. So we just, there we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next one 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I'll move that in line of there. And we move all of the code in. Notice here with our if and our else statement, because we moved this print statement in with the while loop, we also move it in with the else as well. So it's got to go in twice on that line. Okay, because anything inside of an if statement needs to be indented, so that's indented once, and anything inside of a while loop needs to be indented. So while true, age equals input how old are you, and if the age is a digit, what do? Well, do we want to keep looping? No. At this point, we want to stop our loop, or we need to break. Just like that. So, we set up the loop, we do all of the things that we might want to do many, many times, and then we do some kind of test, which is the test to see if you're going to finish the loop, and if it passes that test, we just break out of the loop. So let's see that in action. There we go. So we click run. It asks how old are you, and just put some ridiculous stuff in there. Bob, nope, please enter a valid number. 50, ooh, can't even type it. There we go, 50. Nope, doesn't work. But now if we put 50 itself, it jumps out of the loop and it's finished. In fact, let's just add a few more examples here. So if age is less than 0, and in fact let's do less than 10, you are print very young, and a final one, say you are a normal age. There we go. Else I would just put bye. There you go. Bye. There you go. So there we go. Perfect. And you can see our program is split into two parts. You've got the loopy bit here at the start, which is a bit that asks all the question until some valid data is given, and then we've got the bit at the end here, which is the bit that we do after the loop. Now, your programs might be more complicated than that, and they soon will be when you start doing bigger programs, but that's it in its simplest form. You have your while true, which is what creates the loop. Anything that's indented on one line is inside of the loop, and then once you've finished the loop, you use a break to finish it, and your code for the rest of the program isn't indented because that's not in the loop, and then you just carry on. Let's just try that one last time. There you go. How old are you? Let's try 5. You are very young. Oops. So Daisy, there you go. So that's it for simple while loops. Have a go.